I'm Torrey Smith from the Philadelphia Eagles, and you're watching CITV.
Hello and welcome to another edition of CITV Sports. I'm Scott Samuel David Weiss. It's Thursday, January 24th, 2019. We're at Facenda Whitaker Lanes in East Norristown, PA. In the National Football League, one of the biggest rivalries, the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys. Well, in boys bowling, you got the Norristown Eagles and the Plymouth Whitemarsh Colonials. Those are the teams facing each other today. It's non-league bowling action and a long-time rivalry between teams that have not liked each other over the years. The Norristown Eagles are coached by Candy Johnson. Jeff Blizzard's in his 15th season for Plymouth Whitemarsh. Norristown is wearing bright blue. The Eagles will have Jimmy Dimitri, Logan Yates, Sean O'Connor, Lionel Yates, and Sam Rosenberg, while the Colonials have David Serto, Evan Elgart, Jack Snyder, Zach Miller, and Tyler Panzer. Jimmy Dimitri, the two-handed lefty, will start it off for Norristown on the right lane. Jimmy Dimitri, one of 3 Norristown Eagles to qualify for Eastern PA Regionals last year. David Serto starts it off with a free count on the left side. Serto in Suburban 1 American matches this season averaging 167.11. Dimitri's second ball is on the money. So Dimitri starts off Norristown with a spare. And it's 5 out of 7 on the second ball for Serto. Plymouth Whitemarsh is coming off of a 4-0 win against Happera Horsham on January 23rd. Here's Logan Yates. First split of the contest. Oh, it's not an easy one. The 5-7. Evan Elgart. Similar split. It's the 3-10 though. The 2-10, that's not easy either. Elgart also a member of the Plymouth Whitemarsh varsity boys soccer team the last few school years. And he won't get it, so Yates opens. Elgart will get 1 of 2. Now bring up the free holes for Plymouth Whitemarsh on the left lane and Norristown on the right. You got Jack Snyder for the Colonials and Sean O'Connor for the Eagles. Plymouth Whitemarsh and Norristown in 2010 shared the Suburban 1 American title back when Norristown was still a member of SOL. Norristown in its 3rd school year in the Pioneer Athletic Conference, participating as an independent in bowling. A lot of spin on the outside for Snyder. Well, Messenger knocks it down for O'Connor, the first strike of the game for Sean O'Connor. Right now it's 28-22 in the middle of the first frame of game 1. We'll be bowling 3 games with 10 frames each. Then we'll total it up, and the final score will count as the 4th game. Lionel Yates rolls a 6 count. Snyder's a little bit too far to the right, so he opens back-to-back opens for Plymouth Whitemarsh. So Lionel Yates will have his second ball, and he'll only get 2. Now here is 2018 Suburban 1 American Tournament champion Zach Miller. An awkward stance, he knocks down 9. One thing that is important for Miller this match is to keep his composure. He has been frustrated quite a few times this season. He needs to keep his emotions calm. Anchor Sam Rosenberg has a 6-7-10 split for Norristown. And Miller will knock it down. First mark of the game for PW. It's 43-33 Norristown, pending the roll for Rosenberg, also an Eastern PA regional participant in 2018. He'll get 2 of 3. Here's Tyler Panzer, the PW anchor, and ends the first frame with a strike. It's 45-43 Norristown after 1 frame in the first game. PW had 3 opens, a spare, and a strike. Norristown, 3 opens and a spare, is a strike as well. David Serto has a 9 count on the right side. Jimmy Dimitri on the left side for Norristown. Dimitri at regionals last year finished 188 out of 191. At the last moment, the pin decides to fall. So Jimmy Dimitri has a spare and a strike. The pin setter will have to reset. Serto, meanwhile, comes up empty. Back-to-back opens for Serto, who has 3 200 games, 3 500 series, and a 600 series in Suburban 1 American play. Evan Elgart doesn't like his ball on the right side for Plymouth Whitemarsh. Plymouth Whitemarsh right now in Suburban 1 American, though, 19.5 to 24.5. Actually tied a game against Quakertown, a 3.5 to 0.5 loss on January 14th in Quakertown. Elgart knocks them all down on his second ball. So first spare for Elgart gives him 19 and counting in this first game. Now Logan Yates has got a second straight split. Here's Jack Snyder. Much better ball. And it shows. Jack Snyder, after an open first, gets a strike on his second. PW has 3 Suburban 1 American matches remaining after this week. This is a non-league match, so it does not factor for PW for Eastern PA Regional qualifying. Yates opened again. Zach Miller this time puts him away. And that's back-to-back strikes this frame for PW and back-to-back marks for the senior 4-hole. That'll bring up Sean O'Connor on the left side for the Eagles. That's money for Sean O'Connor. Back-to-back jacks for him, gives him 30 and counting. Tyler Panzer, looks like he'll leave the 2. Lionel Yates will be on the left lane, lane 35 for Norristown. Norristown looking to qualify for the Eastern PA Team Regional Tournament for the first time since 2014. They have to qualify at the Eastern PA Independent Qualifier to get there. Panzer gets his mark. So PW at 112, Norristown at 102 in the second frame of Game 1. PW with 2 strikes, 2 spares, and an open. So Lionel Yates with his second ball. And he finds rhythm and gets both. So 2 strikes, an open, and a spare before Rosenberg. Sam Rosenberg at Eastern PA Regionals last year came in 170th out of 191 with an 828.5 game total and a 180 high game. He leaves free. So Rosenberg and Dimitri, 2 of 19 Norristown male bowlers to have qualified for Eastern PA Regional Singles since its inception in 2007. There have been only 8 to qualify 2 or more times during that span. And he shanks it. Rosenberg knows it. Back-to-back opens for him. Third frame now, here's Jimmy Dimitri. And that's another strike. Spare, strike, strike. For the left-handed two-hander. It's 132 to 112 Norristown. Now third frame for Certo. Money ball there. First strike of the game for David Certo, whose first varsity game came as a freshman in PW's regular season finale at Council Rock South. Lionel Yates rolls 9. Here's Evan Elgart off for spare. It's thinking about it. Looks like one of those loose baby teeth that doesn't want to budge. Lionel Yates on the right side will go for the spare. And it's head on. And that's a spare conversion for Elgart. Back-to-back spares for him gives him 38 counting in the third frame of game 1. 142, 141 Norristown here in non-league play in the first of 3 games. Second meeting between the two teams this season. Connor dropped it right in the gutter, and he was on back-to-back strikes. So we can't get the turkey. Here's Jack Snyder. Ugh, looks like grandma's teeth there. 5 count, 1, 2, 4, 6, 10. Snyder has bowled 19 games on varsity this season, 2 more in conference play varsity, that is, would make him eligible to qualify for Eastern PA Regionals. O'Connor gets a 9 count on the second ball, so that's an open for him. He has 48 and counting. I believe Sean O'Connor in a match against Upper Moreland and coming off of a 200-plus game. Here's Lionel Yates. Logan Yates the 2-hole, and that's 3 out of 5 on the second ball for Snyder, who has 2 opens and a strike. Zach Miller averaging 181.82 in Suburban American. That average will not be affected today. That only averages in conference play will count for regional qualifying for PW. Good ball for Miller. Back-to-back jacks for him. That's 50 and counting in the game. And Miller would like to have a great day. So the third straight day PW has a match here at Facenda Whitaker. Rosenberg. Well, at least there's only 1 pin left. Lionel Yates, meanwhile, converted on his 2-pin spare opportunity. Panzer on a strike and a spare. A little bit outside. That's why he leaves the 1, 2, and 4 pins. Panzer, an Eastern PA regional qualifier last season as a Suburban One American at large. And that's the first mark of the game for Sam Rosenberg. A strike, 3 spares at it open for Norristown in the third. They have 188, the Eagles do. And wow, look at that ricochet. Clean game so far for Panzer. He has 47 counting. 4th frame now, and that's all 10 for Certo. Back-to-back jacks after back-to-back opens. Good bounce back. He's at 47 for 4. Now here's Dimitri. He'll look at 3 more to convert. Elgart doesn't hit the head pin. UW the third frame, 2 strikes, 2 spares, and an open. Dimitri's high game at the regional competition last year was 162. Elgart will finish it off. 3 spares in a row for Evan Elgart. He's got 54 and counting through 4 in the first game. At this point of the season, there are no Colonials in the Suburban American Top 10 Averages list. Top 10 averages are 187.7 to 216.83. 5 of those top 10 are North Penn bowlers. North Penn, 43-1 in conference play. Logan Yates gets a strike for the Eagles. Snyder, bang. His second strike. And it's now 240 to 231. O'Connor went a little bit too outside of the right again, but he's fortunate that didn't land in the gutter. Zach Miller, who has 10 200 games in Suburban American play this season. And there's the gobble gobble. And that's our first turkey of the match. He's got 80 and counting. Miller's high game this season in Suburban 1 play is 226. O'Connor finishes it off. Here's Tyler Panzer. The 7 wiggled. You might be hearing a lady in the background cheering the Colonials on. That's assistant coach Katie Gear, her first season as Jeff Blizzard's assistant. Lionel Yates, meanwhile, off 2 spares, has another 8 count for the third straight frame. It's right now 288 to 257 PW. Panzer will brush it aside. He has a strike and 3 spares. And that's a clean frame. 3 strikes, 2 spares, no opens for PW. 289 to 257. Lionel Yates, meanwhile, missed one of the pins. So 289 to 258 before Rosenberg. That's actually Jimmy Dimitri on the right side, starting the 5th frame off with a great ball. So the 4th frame will officially end on the roll or 2 here by Rosenberg on lane 35 for Norristown. Another good ball. That's his first strike. Norristown is down 289 to 288 now in the 5th frame. 2 strikes, a spare, 2 opens for the Eagles in the 4th frame. Logan Yates has a 4-pin spare opportunity. Serto will get an 8 count to start his 5th frame. The Suburban 1 American Tournament is scheduled February 12th. I believe it might be at Earl Bowl, Quakertown, or Earl Bowl in Arlington. 5 bowlers with the highest 3-game totals who haven't already qualified for regionals, I believe, will get at-large bids to the 2019 Eastern PA Regionals, March 1st in Lancaster. Logan Yates opened, but Serto gets his 3rd straight mark. He picks up the 2-pin spare. Evan Elgart will be on the left side here. It's 317 to 306 Colonial in the first game. Elgart with his first X. O'Connor can't follow suit after back-to-back strikes to begin the game. He had an open and then a spare. Tyler Panzer has the highest Suburban 1 American average for PWs at 187.55. That is not top 10 worthy right now. Jason Young of Penridge at 187.7. So 0.15 of a pin difference. O'Connor gets his 2nd straight spare. Snyder staring down the 2-pin on the left side. Good ball. Here's Lionel Yates looking for his first X. That 10 won't budge. Zach Miller on a turkey. Cannot get the clover. right now at 101 and counting, pending the roll. And that is an open for Yates. Not too long ago, Norristown had a bowler named Dylan Copestick who had an 800 series during one match. Copestick is only one of 2 Norristown male bowlers to qualify for regionals 4 times. He's now at, I believe, Whitaker University. Miller, his second spare. He has nothing but strikes and spares so far. Rosenberg now. And Sam Rosenberg with the 1-2 and 8 pins on the right lane. I believe Norristown's next match, will be the Eastern PA Independent Qualifying Tournament January 26th in Ephrata. Good ball for Panzer, but the 7 won't come down. Tyler Panzer with 8 200 games in Suburban 1 American matches will not factor today. And Rosenberg has 3 straight marks. A strike, 2 spares, 2 opens for Norristown in the 5th at 7 strikes. 8 spares and 10 opens for the Eagles for 5 frames in game 1. So gotta hurry? No. And that's Panzer's first open. And that ruined the chance of a second straight clean frame for the Colonials. 6th frame now, and Serto starts off with a 9 count. Jimmy Dimitri on the left lane, 35. There aren't many left-handed two-handers. Jesper Svensson, to name one, in Professional Bowling Association, 23-year-old Swede, is a two-handed lefty, I believe. How about Serto? 4 straight marks. Give him 94 and counting. His high series this year, 613, that was in conference play. Dimitri has a second ball. Oh, he gets 3 of 4. Eventually, the hope is Pioneer Athletic Conference will have an actual league so that teams like Norristown wouldn't have to go for an independent qualifying tournament to make Eastern PA regionals. Evan Elgart with a 6 count. Now here's Logan Yates. And he'll get 9. In 2011, Norristown had a very good team. Elgart can't get the spare here. They had AJ Ferrizzi, Chris Schock, John Mills, Zach Hollick, and Matt Grayowski. Grayowski in 2011 finished 9th at Eastern PA qualifying, so he made the top 12 and qualified for the state tournament. Logan Yates converts his 6th frame spare. Now here is Jack Snyder. Yes, his 3rd strike gives Snyder 82 and counting. Really good ball for O'Connor. O'Connor gets his 3rd strike. Sean O'Connor at 97 and counting for the Eagles. It's 459 to 402 PW. I believe Candy Johnson, during the pre-match huddle, had goals for today. I believe the high game of the season for Norristown, 966, might be higher. And the free game high is 2,611. Oh, those are some goals Candy Johnson has for the matches to eclipse him. Good ball for Lionel Yates. That's his first X. Here's Zach Miller. Zach Miller so far, 4 strikes and 2 spares. He is pumped up right now. Sometimes you have it, sometimes you don't. And right now he's having it. 127 and counting. Zach Miller had a terrific day February 2018 here at Facenda when he had 649 free game total to win the Suburban 1 American tournament. Panzer with a 2nd strike. That PW has 3 strikes, an open, and a spare that frame. PW now has 12 strikes in the game. 11 spares and 7 opens. Sam Rosenberg and to finish his 6th frame. Good ball. It's his 4th straight mark. Give him 85 and counting. It's 489, 430. Colonials over to Eagles here in game 1 of 3. Dimitri time. Should be fortunate it's not the dreaded 7-10 split. 9 count. Just a 7-pin for Dimitri. David Serto. Sometimes when you have matches 3 days in a row, you do better. Serto right now just trying to find rhythm. Dimitri could not convert the 1-pin spare. It's back-to-back opens for Jimmy D, and it's 110 for 7 for him. Logan Yates will be on the right lane for Norristown. Brushes it aside. Good job for Serto, who has 5 straight marks. Give him 113 and counting. PW has eclipsed 500. Another good ball for Yates. Back-to-back marks for Logan. Give him 95 and counting. Evan Elgart. Oh, yeah. Elgart has 2 strikes, 3 spares, and 2 opens. Give him 102 and counting. Sean O'Connor with his 2nd back-to-back jack situation. He's got 4 strikes, 117 and counting. Jack Snyder now. Moneyball. He's got back-to-back jacks. Give him 102 and counting in the 7th frame of game 1. Lionel. 7 wiggles but won't fall for Lionel Yates at 14.8 MPH. Zach Miller looking to be 7 of 7 in marks. Might be a jersey. Not what he wanted, but at least it's not multiple pins. And it'll be a 1-pin spare conversion for Lionel Yates. It's now 556 to 499. Colonials over to Norristown Eagles. By the way, Matt Grayowski, when he made states in 2011, he finished 12th in states, 108 pins below the top 5. Make that 7 of 7 marks for Zach Miller. Sam Rosenberg, who got the bull alongside Dylan Copestick a couple years ago. I think Copestick might be the best Suburban 1 America bowler, best Norristown bowler in the regional era to not make states. Tyler Panzer with the strike, and the reason why I say Dylan Copestick, one of the best bowlers for Norristown to not make states, is guy consistently gets over 200s a game, about a 230 or so average. He was 14 pins behind the top 12 2 years ago at Eastern PA Regionals. Came in 14th. Sam Rosenberg with his 5th straight mark, and Norristown with 2 strikes, 2 spares, and an open. And that will be 578 to 517 Colonials. Dimitri gets a strike to begin the 8th frame for Norristown. And it's a 7 count on the right side for David Serto. Logan Yates has his turn next on a strike. And how about another clean frame? 3 strikes and 2 spares in the 7th for PW. The 10 won't budge. PW has 7 total opens through 7 frames. That's a good job so far. Keep it that way. 4th straight spare for Serto. That's his 6th straight mark. Give him 130 and counting. PW has 15 strikes. And now 14 spares. Good pickup for Logan Yates. Got a good match so far. Evan Elgart with back-to-back jacks. This is 3rd strike. Have him 122 and counting. In the 8th frame of game 1. Plymouth Whitemarsh's remaining Suburban 1 American opponents. Upper Moreland, Upper Dublin, and Penridge. O'Connor, another good ball, but that was a 9 count. Jack Snyder on a double. Gobble, gobble. 3 in a row for Jack Snyder, and he's feeling it. 132 and counting through 8. It's 6:45 to 5:74. Plymouth Whitemarsh over Norristown in the first game. This match, again, will not count for PW in terms of Eastern PA qualifying, but it's an official match nonetheless, so you still got to try your best. How about Sean O'Connor with another spare? Just 1 open. He's at 146 and counting. That's the first ball rolled by Zach Miller that wasn't a 9. That's actually the second ball that wasn't a 9 or a strike on the first. Lionel Yates with a 6 count on the left side. And he is still open free. Zach Miller, 4 strikes, 4 spares, 165 and counting. Tyler Panzer will be on lane 36, the right side for the Colonials after Lionel Yates. And Lionel Yates is doing well. That's his 3rd straight mark, 108 and counting. Tyler Panzer with an 8 count. EW at 687, 592 for Norristown area. Rosenberg, 5 marks in a row. Leaves to 7. 121 and counting. Panzer needs to convert. And he does. How about this? 2nd straight. Open free frame. And the 3rd and the last 4 for PW. 2 strikes, 3 spares, no opens. PW 7 opens through 8. Wow. That's a good match so far. Rosenberg will allow his teammate Jimmy Dimitri to begin the 9th frame on the right side. And it's a good start. Back-to-back jacks for Jimmy Dimitri. He's got 140 and counting. Rosenberg can't complete the open free frame for the Eagles. 1 strike, 3 spares, and an open. And now we're in frame 9 of game 1. Logan Yates. Woo-woo, it's another strike for the Eagles. That, I believe, is the 15th of the game. Oh, wow, what a ball for Serto. Strike. Makes it now 7 straight frames with a mark. It's 150 and counting. How about Sean O'Connor? 3 strikes in the last 4. And there's another grandma's teeth situation. This time, Evan Elgart. It's 726 to 670 PW in the 9th frame of game 1. Really good ball for Lionel Yates. And how about this? If Rosenberg gets a strike, the Eagles will blast off with 5 strikes in the frame. Come on, 10. That was as best as he could do it. But couldn't get it done. 5 and 4 gives him 145 through 9. 734 to 690. PW. Snyder on a free bagger. And he'll leave that 7. Snyder now at 159 and counting. Snyder will look for a different ball to use. There are certain balls you aren't allowed to use, but there aren't many. Good pickup. By the way, Elgart's Open is just the 8th of the game. Now Zach Miller. Yes. Zach Miller, 9 frames, 9 marks, give him 185 and counting. That's his 5th strike. PW had a match this season in which an opposing bowler had an open free performance. That was Matt Weil of Quakertown on January 14th, 20 strikes and 13 spares. Rosenberg can't get the strike, and that means Norristown will fail to strike out a frame. Panzer got to be really careful. That was too far right. Oil is shifting a bit too far right. That's a 5 count. 1, 2, 3, 5, 7. Rosenberg, though, finishes off the clean frame. 4 strikes and a spare for Norristown heading into the 10th and final frame of the game. Panzer will finish it with a 4 out of 5. Only 9 open frames for PW for 9 frames. Now the bonus frame, the 10th frame, and it's a strike for Serto. He'll get 2 more rolls. 170 and counting. Here's Dimitri. And he'll get 2 extra rolls. Gobble, gobble, that's a turkey. 170 and counting for him. It's 8-17, the 7:30 Colonials over Norristown. But it looks like good start so far. For PW, that's the 20th strike of the game. There have been matches this season in which PW didn't even get that many in a game. Dimitri's 2nd. Oh, 7 will stand. And he'll be at 188. I'm on. Oh, also 188 and counting. So the leadoff bowlers exchanging wits. PW up though 835 to 748 in game 1 against Norristown. Dimitri can't keep it in, but a solid first game. 188 for Jimmy Dimitri. And there's more for improvement. Serto completes the spare. 189. Good start for Serto. How about 9 straight marks? Logan Yates on the left side. That's a split. Evan Elgart all 10. 21st strike of the game for PW. $846 to $764 Colonials. Elgart now for 2nd ball on the right side. Now 5 will stand. There will be a 1-pin pickup opportunity. He'll be shooting for 165. Elgart's high game in Suburban American play, this is non-league, is 245, so he knows he could do better, although he's averaging 153 for free in SOL play. Good attempt. The 6-7 split is just missed for Logan Yates. He'll finish with a 153. Evan Elgart picks up the spare, strike and spare for him. That's a 165. Now the free holes for the 10th frame in game 1. Jack Snyder. Thought about it, but the 10 decided not to go. Sean O'Connor. All 10. Back-to-back jacks for him. And he's at 186. He is shooting for possibly a 200 plus. And that's even with a first ball gutter. Snyder will finish it off. One more ball. PW has 5 marks in the 10th frame. Second ball for O'Connor. And Sean O'Connor is feeling it. Gobble, gobble. He's at 206. Good game so far. And Snyder finishes with an X. 190 for Jack Snyder. PW now with 22 strikes and 20 spares. O'Connor with a 215. What a start for Sean O'Connor of Norristown. Norristown has 20 strikes. Zach Miller with all 10. And that's a 205 for him. PW at 905. But we see PW get a 1,000 game at some point today. PW's high series in Suburban 1 American play, though, is 2774. Well, that's a 9 count for Lionel Gates. Miller on the second. Yes. Jumps up and down in jubilation. Turkey for him. That's his second gobble-gobble of the game. He's at 225. And that is a pickup for Lionel Gates. He'll get a bonus ball. It's the 16th spare for Norristown. That was too far outside. Oh, nearly got them all. What a game for Zach Miller. 234. But because that was a bonus ball, an open free first game for Zach Miller. 155, though, for Lionel Gates. How about this? PW might finish with single-digit opens in the first game. Right now it's 934 to 842 PW. Now the anchor portion. Tyler Panzer. Yikes. It's the 4-9. Rosenberg. 7. It's a 10. That won't fall. It's at 149 and counting. PW's high game in conference play this season, 964. And that is right through the wickets. Just 10 opens for PW in game 1. He finishes with 164, Panzer did. And PW will win game number 1 by a score of 942 to 860. Rosenberg finished with a 149. We'll now head into the second game of this non-league contest between Plymouth Whitemarsh and Norristown. Plymouth Whitemarsh won the first game, 942 to 860. Suburban 1 Sports is a Suburban 1 League's premier high school sports authority, providing athletes and fans the latest sports news, scores, and photos. Visit Suburban 1 Sports online at www.suburban1sports.com. So we'll start off our second game with Norristown in the left lane, PW on the right. Lanes 35 and 36 here at Facenda. Demi Dimitri on the left for Norristown, and David Surt on the right for Plymouth Whitemarsh. Dimitri starts off with a strike. 188 first game. Didn't hit the head pin. Leaves the 1 free and 6 pins. Logan Yates is next, off of 153. Good ball movement, and that's back-to-back strikes to begin game 2 for Norristown. 1 of 3 for Serto. In game 1, PW had, I believe, 24 strikes, 20 spares, and 10 opens. Norristown had 20 strikes, I believe 16 spares, and I believe 16 opens. Evan Elgart was riding the outside. Sean O'Connor had a terrific first game. Had a 215. Starts off with an 8. Elgart has 1, 2, 4, and 7 pins. Elgart had a 165 in the first game. And he opens as well. Similar start to the first game. O'Connor converts the spare. PW had open to begin game 1, and then had only 7 opens for the rest of the game. Just need time to adjust. Jack Snyder off of 190. PW still looking for its first strike in game 2. And that's all 10 for Lionel Yates. I believe one of Norristown's assistant coaches is Brandon Bonamico, a Norristown graduate, who qualified for regionals in 2013 and 2014. Snyder gets the 2-pin spare. Right now, 40-26 in Norristown in game 2. Zach Miller so far is open 3. He'll be on the right side of 4-hole for Plymouth Whitemarsh. Sam Rosenberg, the anchor for Norristown, on the left. Come on, 10. Similar start to the first game. He had a spare in the first frame in that one. And Rosenberg gets all 10. How about 4 strikes and a spare for Norristown? And that's Miller's first open frame of the match. Rough start for the Colonials in game 2. 50-35 Norristown. Before Tyler Panzer, who I believe is 11th in average as Suburban 1 American, top 10 automatically qualified for Eastern PA Regionals, which are March 1st in Lancaster. David Sertel will begin the second frame of game 2 on the left side for the Colonials. Right now, first and second place in Suburban 1 American. North Penn at 43-1, Penn Ridge at 33-11. Top 2 teams in the division automatically qualified for team regionals March 2nd. Panzer gets the spare. PW, no strikes, 2 spares, 2 opens. It's 53-50. Plymouth Whitemarsh now in the second frame of game 2. Nice pickup for David Serto. Jimmy Dimitri time. And he rolls it in the left gutter. Evan Elgart will be next. Plymouth Whitemarsh in 2018 qualified 4 male bowlers to Eastern PA Regionals. Elgart gets 7. Jaden Hudson, Tyler Panzer, Zach Miller, and Jake Newell. Newell's sister Ashley, I think, is a sophomore and bowls for the Lady Colonials varsity, if present. And that's a 10 count spare after the gutter for Dimitri, so good pickup. Elgart, meanwhile, picks up the 3-pin spare, so PW on 3 straight spares. Now Logan Yates. Beautifully executed, and he's got back-to-back jacks. Give him 30 and counting. 90-65 Norristown in game 2, frame 2. Another storyline in Suburban 1 American. Evan Lekolitz of Penridge bowled a 300 game versus Quakertown on Wednesday, January 23rd, 2019. That was yesterday in Arlington. And that'll be a 3-10 split for Snyder. O'Connor, an 8 count. By the way, Penridge defeated Quakertown yesterday 4-0. North Penn has already clinched an Eastern PA regional spot with 4 matches, with 3 conference matches to go. And there is a spare split conversion. Back-to-back spares for Snyder. And back-to-back spares now for Sean O'Connor. It's an open 3 performance so far early in Game 2 for Norristown. Zach Miller. Yes. And that's the first strike of Game 2 for PW. 19 and counting. Here's Lionel Yates. Sam Rosenberg and Jimmy Dimitri looking to become the 5th and 6th Norristown bowlers to qualify for regionals twice, which include Brandon Bonamico, John Mill, Gordon Murphy, and Jacob Hollick. Jacob Hollick's relative, Zach Hollick, qualified all 4 years for Eastern PA Regionals. It was just a 1 out of 5 for Lionel Yates, the first open in Game 2 for Norristown area. Hanser will have 1 pin to deal with, while Rosenberg has a 2nd frame. I believe at the Eastern PA Independent Qualifying Tournament, 8 boy bowlers will advance to Eastern PA Regionals. That's a spare pickup for Panzer. Clean frame for PW, but it wasn't easy. 1 strike, 4 spares, no opens. Rosenberg gets the 3-pin spare. So 1 strike, 3 spares, 1 open so far. It's Norristown 140, Plymouth Whitemarsh 112 in Game 2. PW leads 1 game to none after a 942 to 860 first game win. Jimmy Dimitri will be next. Strike and a 10-pin spare. Much better ball. Got it. Jimmy Dimitri. 2 strikes and a spare, give him 50 and counting. Here's Serto. At this point, it does not appear Serto would qualify for regionals by pinfall, so he'll have to try to nail down 1 of 5 at-large berths at the February 12th Suburban 1 American Tournament, circumstances permitting that day takes place. A really good ball again for Logan Yates, looking for the turkey. He gets 9. Serto head on. 2 spares in a row for Serto, and that means he has 37 through 3. 187 to 131 Norristown, pending the Logan Yates roll. And he picks it up. Of course, Plymouth Whitemarsh finishing up first semester final exams this week. And then following week, we have a new semester. All 10 for Evan Elgart. Just a 2nd strike of Game 2 for PW. O'Connor. Sean O'Connor having a heck of a day. Just 1 open frame so far. That was the first ball gutter and 9 count in Game 1's 3rd frame. He's got 48 and counting. Jack Snyder now. Couldn't nail it down. Coming off of that split 8 spare. Lionel Yates. Beautiful. Norristown looking for its second open free frame in free frame. Good pickup for Snyder. At the January 26th Eastern PA Individual Independent Qualifying Tournament, each school can enter 7 bowlers in singles. The top 8 boys and top 8 girls, based on scratch pinfall, qualify for regionals. That's out of 4 games of qualifying. The top 2 boys teams and top 2 girls teams qualify for regionals. That will be free regular games and free Baker games. Miller. He's trying to beg and plead his case to the pins. Miller would like another 200 game. He wants to shake off the first frame open. Sam Rosenberg now for Norristown. Not sure if that felt good for him, but 9 count isn't bad. Miller's second. And Miller, just 1 open frame in the match so far. He's got 39 in this one. In game 2, 237 for Norristown, 188 for Plymouth Whitemarsh. This is a non-league bowling match. Matchup between bitter rivals. Former league rivals. Rosenberg so far clean. Spares. 2 spares and a strike. And that's another clean frame for Norristown. And Tyler Panzer gets the X. PW with a clean frame of its own for the second straight frame. 2 strikes, 3 spares. No opens. Serto now to begin the 4th. Job well done. He's got 3 straight marks. Jimmy Dimitri looking for his 4th mark in 4 frames. Ooh. Not an easy one. He might have to go to the far left to get the 4-6. Here is Elgart. Picks up 8. He'll pick up 1. That's what you need to do. Get at least 1. You're on the strike. He's at 68 for 4, Jimmy Dimitri. Elgart gets both. PW has 13 straight marks. And PW's 3.5 to 0.5 loss at Earl Bull Quakertown to Quakertown on January 14th. At one point in the second game of that match, Quakertown had, I believe, more than 20 marks in a row at one point. In that second game, both teams, I think, had 949. Snyder, all 10. And make that 14 straight marks for PW. 272 to 268 now, Norristown. Another split here. 310, one of the more manageable ones. Not this time. So Logan Yates can't convert. Miller might have rushed it. Miller is a competitor. Doesn't like to fail. And is a real good athlete. Sean O'Connor, all 10. Back-to-back jacks. After back-to-back opens for Norristown. Miller picks it up. As long as you keep getting the marks, you're in good hands. He's at 54 and counting for 4. Here's Lionel Yates for Norristown. And he knocks down all 10. 52 and counting. Panzer. One thing Panzer needs to do is not go too far right. Panzer qualified for Eastern PA Regionals last year as an at-large. He came in 6th place at the Suburban One American Tournament in 2018. That's Zach Miller 1. Jake Newell came in 2nd at 6:43. And Panzer could get only 3. It's only PW's third open. PW got a couple strikes and a couple spares, though. Through 4 frames, PW has 301. Now Rosenberg will pick up the 2-pin spare. 2 strikes, a spare, 2 opens. That's only 3 open frames so far for Norristown. Not messy so far. 5th frame now, 331 to 301 Eagles. Jamie Dimitriev for his 3rd strike in 5 frames. Going for that first ball gutter in the 2nd. Could be working on a really nice game. There's Serto. He'll get 7. On the left lane now is Logan Yates. Oh, really far outside. On this date in 2005, January 24th, 2005, Dan Costello had a .266 game for Plymouth Whitemarsh. We'll see if anyone can get close to that total today. And that's only 1 of 3 for Serto for PW's 4th open. Actually now 5th. 5th open, pardon. Good pickup. A 3 and 7 for Logan Yates. That's a spare. Now to clarify, PW in the first frame had 0 strikes, 2 spares, 3 opens, so that's only 5 open frames so far for PW. Sean O'Connor. Out of trouble. Has the 3, 6, and 10 pins. Evan Elgart on a 7 count. He left a 9 pin. Back to back to back opens. Now that's 6 opens. PW had 10 in the first game. O'Connor is open free through 5. That's 6 marks in a row for the Eagles. It's 378 to 333 Norristown in Game 2. PW won Game 1, 942 to 860. Jack Snyder has a 6, has the 4-7. Here's Lionel Yates. Has the 3 and 6 pins. PW's next match, I believe, is scheduled against Springford at Limerick Bowl in Pottstown on January 28th, another non-league matchup. Snyder converts. He has 4 spares and a strike. He's got 85 and counting. Springford defeated Plymouth Whitemarsh 4-0 December 6, 2018 here in East Norriton. That was Springford's first ever match in program history. Make that 7 straight marks now for the Eagles. Spare for Lionel Yates. Zach Miller urges it down. There's a 10 for Zach Miller. He's got 74 and counting. His 2nd strike of the game. Anchor time. Norristown will have Sam Rosenberg on lane 35, the left side. Tyler Panzer, lane 36, the right for Plymouth Whitemarsh. Good execution. Open free frame for the Eagles. 2 strikes. 3 spares. No opens. It's already 12 strikes for the Eagles. Tyler Panzer also got all 10. So now we go to the 6th frame of Game 2, 426, the 383 Eagles. Dimitri gets Everything except for the 6 and 10. He's at 94 and counting. Oh, right in the second diamond in the right. One pin will not follow suit. He'll have to deal with the free. It's 82 and counting for leadoff Certo. One of a few PW seniors. No, ball wouldn't follow. Second open in the game for Dimitri, 94 and counting. And that's good. So PW now could return and come back. It's a spare for Certo, give him 83 and counting. Evan Elgart. Magnificent. His second strike. My Logan Yates, it was 7 count. He's at 100 and counting. Jack Snyder now. Boom! Now PW with 6 straight marks. Second straight strike for the Colonials. It's 456 to 423 Norristown. PW up 1-0 in terms of game. And that is picked up by Logan Yates. That wasn't an easy one. He finished it. Zach Miller, come on, 10. Pins were much kinder in the first game. Miller would like to get another 600 series. Maybe we'll see a 700 series from him as the season finishes up. PW hasn't had a 700 series since Jake Newell in December 2017, 701. Oh, that's a second one-pin miss of the game. Also a second open of not only the game but the match. He has 92 and counting through 6. Sean O'Connor on a one-pin spare opportunity, and he is clean through 6. O'Connor at 114 and counting. Solid game, solid match so far for Sean O'Connor of Norristown. 478 to 441, Eagles over the Colonials. Tyler Panzer will finish the 6 for PW. And he cleans it up with a strike. PW with 3 strikes, a spare, and an open. PW at 461 through 6 in game 2. Lionel Yates will have 3 pins to deal with as Jim and Dimitri, I think, will start frame 7 on the left side. Anyway, there have been only 2 perfect games in PW history. One came against Norristown back on February 4th, 2008. The 300 was by Chris Hammis. Interesting to note, I think Hammis finished last at the Eastern PA Regionals in 2008. So one day you could be hot, another day you're not. Jimmy Dimitri with all 10 to begin the 7th for Norristown. He's at 104 and counting. Meanwhile, Sam Rosenberg, the anchor for the Eagles, has the 6th frame. All 10 for him. He's got back-to-back jacks, 6 marks in a row. He's at 107 and counting. That's a 9 count right now for Logan Yates. Right now, Norristown has 14 strikes. David Certo asserts himself with the strike. That's his 2nd strike, give him 103 through 7. He had a 189 first game. Should come back in, and it's another spare for Logan Yates of Norristown. Evan Elgar, meanwhile, is on back-to-back jacks now. PW with 3 strikes in a row. It's now 542 to 501 Norristown. Good sportsmanship shown there with Elgart and even Sam Rosenberg. Now Jack Snyder. PW 3 for 3 on strikes in this 7th frame. O'Connor follows suit, and he is 7 of 7 on marks in this game. He is at 134 and counting, looking to get another 200-plus game in the match. Miller would like to finish strong. And that's a good start for the 7th frame. And if Tyler Panzer strikes here, PW would have struck out the frame. It's an 8 count for Lionel Yates. And believe it or not, PW is crawling back. It's 570 to 531 Norristown, but PW has 7 strikes in the last 8 bowlers. And PW can't strike out here. Was not a good ball. 1, 2, 4, and 10 pins left. Lionel Yates, though, gets 1 of 2. I believe only the 6th open frame of the game for Norristown. Panzer comes up short. He's at 119 for 7. Now Rosenberg with the strike. He's got a turkey. 3 in a row gives him 137 and counting. 601, 553 Norristown. 8th frame of game 2. Dimitri won't have to deal with a split. David Serto is on a strike. He's at 103 and counting. Double. Now he is at 123 and counting. High five from head coach Jeff Blizzard. Dimitri, though, picks it up. Maybe we'll see him again at Eastern PA Regionals March 1st. Elgart. Pass the stuffing. It's a turkey for Elgart. And Logan Yates with a strike. We got a strike spree going on here. Jack Snyder trying to join the Thanksgiving table. Ooh, I don't think so. It's a 6-10. He leaves. Sean O'Connor leaves the 6. It's at 152 and counting for Norristown. Wearing the bright blue tops. Oh, that's going to head to the gutter. Well, that's only the 9th open for PW in this game. That's the 19th in the match. Well, that's an open. That's the first open frame for O'Connor in this game. He's at 152. Miller. Ka-ching! Back-to-back strikes for him. It's at 122 and counting. 659 to 647, Norristown. PW up 1-0. Lionel Yates. He's looking at the 6 pin. Tyler Panzer, meanwhile, just dealing with the 4. Panzer has 2 open frames. It's at 128. Good pickup for Lionel Yates. He's at 114 and counting. Hold up. He's got it. And Panzer has a 129 and counting. PW at 657. Norristown at 669. Rosenberg on a turkey. Oh, cannot get 4 in a row. That is a headache of a spare staring at Sam Rosenberg. 1, 2, 7, 8, 9. 9th frame now for Jimmy Dimitri. On the left side for Norristown, he'll get a 9 count. Will shanked it left Only 1 of 5 on the second ball. Norristown 704. PW 657. Now we're in the ninth. Good pickup for Dimitri. He's got 3 marks in a row. Give him 143. David Serto. 6 count. Norristown right now at 7 open frames. Looking at the 4 and 7 pins here on the left lane for Norristown's Logan Yates. And Serto going gets 2. His first open since the 5th, his third of the game, 145. Entering the bonus frame. 721 to 679. Norristown looking to even things up. Ooh, can't brush any of the pins. So in the 8th open for the Eagles. How about a clover for Evan Elgart? 4 in a row. Give him 164 and counting. How about Sean O'Connor? 162 and counting. Looks like quietly having a solid effort so far. Max Snyder on a 9 count. 158 and counting. Here's Lionel Yates. Looks like that 9 is going to stay there. Good pickup for Jack Snyder. 159 and counting right now, a 349 series. His Suburban American high series is 582. And that is a good pickup. Kennedy Johnson liking the effort, the head coach for Norristown. Zach Miller, welcome to the Thanksgiving table. That's a turkey. 152 and counting right now. He's at a 386 series. Needs a 166 here to enter the final game with 400 already. Sam Rosenberg, the anchor. Beautiful. 4 strikes and 5 frames for Rosenberg. Now here's Panzer who gets 8. Norristown entering the final frame with 19 strikes, 18 spares, and 8 opens. Norristown up 7 is down actually 765 to 760. PW right now at 10 opens. Norristown at 8. Colonials have 19 strikes. And that is a good pickup for Panzer. 147 and counting. 767 to 760 Colonials entering our 10th and final frame of game 2. That 7 won't fall. So that's 154 and counting right now for Serta. Jimmy Dimitri. Ooh. 1-3. 7-9. Right now, Dimitri, I think, is at a 343. The spare was converted by Serto. Cannot get it. Jamie Dimitri finishes with a 155, or 158. So right now it's 777 to 775 PW. PW coming back by making its share of marks. All 10 for Serto. The 20th strike for PW this game. 165, good finish for David Serto. Logan Yates gets a 7. Already had a better score than his first game. He's at 165. His first was 153. Looks like the scores will be lower than the first. And Elgart gets 7. That ends his string of strikes at 4 in a row. Away. The Plymouth Whitemarsh girls bowling team picked up a nice win over Hatboro Horsham on January 23rd. 4th place though, but the Lady Colonials are actually in contention for a regional spot. Good pickup for Elgart, but an open for Logan Yates. He finishes with 167. Elgart at 191 could get a 200 with a 9 or X. The Lady Colonials have the second and final Suburban 1 League wildcard spot right now based on pinfall. If results hold that way for the final 3 conference games, PW girls varsity will be in regionals for the first time in program history. Sean O'Connor knocks down 7 on his first ball. So he's at 176. Evan Elgart with an 8 count of 199. And Evan Elgart saying, one pin. As Elgart at only 200 games of conference play. This is non-conference. Jack Snyder on the 159. And it will increase of a strike. O'Connor picks it up. 179 here for Snyder, and it looks like Snyder could get in the range of what Evan Elgart got. So O'Connor's at 182. He only needs 3 to be at 400 for 2. And it's an 8 count, so Jack Snyder will have another solid game. He's at 187. O'Connor finishes with 9. That's a 191. That is a 406 right now for 2. Oh, can only get 1. That's a 188. Right now, 378 for Jack Snyder. We'll need a 222 or 600. Here's Lionel Yates. Kaboom. 3rd straight mark. He's at 153 and counting. PW up 851 to 833 in the final frame of game 2. PW won the first game. Zach Miller on the turkey. He found the clover. 4 in a row. 182 and counting. Lionel Yates gets an 8 count. It is possible for Miller to finish with a 200 game. He gets a strike. Could be promising. Zach Miller now with 6 strikes in the game. And that's 5 in a row for Zach Miller. 202. You got another 200 game, Miller. And PW at 901 to 841. Last few frames helped the Colonials. And that's only 1 pin there. Third open this frame for Norristown. Zach Miller finishes with 7. That's 209. He's at 443 for 2. So PW 908, Norristown 842 entering the anchor leg, and it looks like PW will lead 2-0, barring anything catastrophic. PW this game with 23 strikes. Norristown right now at 20. Now here's Rosenberg. And they'll start off with a strike. Panzer gets all 10. How about 24 strikes in game 1, 24 in game 2, 928. PW had 942 in the first. It didn't look like PW would get this high. PW is going to win this game as well. Panzer with his third mark in a row. Rosenberg at 184. Come on. He'll shake it off. He's at 202. Lionel Yates finished with 162. Panzer. And that's a double. 25 strikes in the game for PW. So PW's going to finish the game with 11 opens. Good pickup for Rosenberg. 203. 881 for Norristown. Final roll. And that's a turkey to finish things off. 26 strikes for PW. That's a 187. And the final score is Plymouth Whitemarsh 948. And Norristown 881. PW wins 2-0 as we head to the third and final game of the match. Welcome back to Non-League Boys Bowling on Colonial Instructional Television. I'm Scott Samuel David Weiss. We enter our third and final game of this rivalry match between Norristown and Plymouth Whitemarsh. The Colonials lead 2-0, 1890 to 1741. PW won the first and second games. David Serto for the Colonials will go start off with a strike on the left lane. Good start for Serto, who's at 364 now. And Dimitri follows suit. Jimmy Dimitri for Norristown, the two-handed lefty. PW won the first game 942 to 860, and the second game 948 to 881. Evan Elgart has an 8 count. Logan Yates, the 320 series so far, has a 9 count. The Colonial Instructional Television YouTube channel, your online video source for sports, school board meetings, educational highlights, and more from the students, staff, and faculty of Colonial School District. Visit www.youtube.com and search Colonial Instructional Television. Elgart cannot get anything on his spare ball, so he's at 8 and counting through 1 in our final game. And that is a 1-pin missed opportunity for Logan Yates. Jack Snyder will be on lane 35, the left side. He gets a 9 count. Sean O'Connor, a good first 2 games at a 406, entering this final game. That's a 9 count there. And he'll brush it aside. Snyder, 190, 188, and starting this final game with a spare. PW 4 matches remaining on the season at Springford versus Upper Moreland, at Upper Dublin, at Penridge. Miller gets a 9 count. Miller, 234, a 209. He needs a 157 for a 600. Ooh, that is a split for Lionel Yates. It's a 2-4-10. Hurry up. No. Second straight game, Miller opens the first frame. So right now it's 37-36 PW. And that is nothing doing for Lionel Yates. Tyler Panzer now, the anchor for Plymouth Whitemarsh. And he starts off his first frame of the game with an X. PW with 47 through one frame. Sam Rosenberg, the anchor for the Eagles, will have his turn. So 2 strikes to spare. 2 opens. PW right now has 52 strikes, 39 spares, 23 opens. And that's a 10 count there for Rosenberg, coming off with a 200 free game. It's 47-46 PW after one frame in our third game. Jamie Dimitri on a strike. He'll have to deal with a pin. Serto would like to start off with back-to-back jacks. He will. It's the 4th time this match that he has back-to-back jacks. And believe it or not, that's his 3rd straight strike dating back to the 10th frame of Game 2. So he has a turkey. And Dimitri picks up the spare. Elgart with a 10 count of his own. If he wishes to get a 600 series, he needs a 236, Elgart does. Logan Yates. Fortunate that didn't land in the gutter. Jack Snyder. 6 and 10 pins. The top 10 Suburban 1 American. James Carnell, Matt Morley, Lucas Francis, Matt Wheel, Nick McNamara, Martin Grace, AJ Borrell, Drew Masick, Nate Taggart, and Jason Young. PW does not have a bowler in the top 10 in Suburban 1 American at the moment. Snyder can only pick up one. So Logan Yates picks up a spare. But Jack Snyder cannot. Zach Miller just being told what to do by Jeff Blizzard. Sean O'Connor moves the free 6 and 10 pins. Oh, good ball. Really good ball. And you can tell at the beginning of that one. So he's at 19 and counting. O'Connor picked up the spare. Tyler Panzer has to deal with the free pin. Lionel Yates. Dealing with the free and 6 pins. Panzer has 4 600 series and conference play. This is non-conference. And PW that frame with 3 strikes and spare and an open. And that is an open frame, back-to-back opens for Lionel Yates. PW right now for 2 has 124. Rosenberg will roll on the left side with Norristown 102. PW needs 11-10 in this game for 3,000 series. Dimitri gets an 8 count to begin the third frame for the Eagles, but Rosenberg still has to finish the second. Looks like he hooked it. It's a 6 count. And that's a spare for Dimitri, who's looking to make regionals for the second straight year. If you qualify for Eastern PA regionals, the top 12 bowlers doing 5 games of qualifying will advance to the state tournament, which I think is taking place 2 weeks after the regional competition. Dimitri gets his third straight mark. Rosenberg opened. So Serto gets a 7 count. Meanwhile, Logan Yates, a 6-10, gets both. For Logan Yates, he has 37 and counting for free. Right now, that's a free 57 series. Jeff Blizzard and Candy Johnson did not make substitutes in this match, so it's the same 5 for each team. Serto with another pickup. He's at 57 and counting. He needs a 246 for a 600 series. Elvin Elgart, back-to-back jacks. Sean O'Connor looking for his third spare and as many opportunities. Alfredo Jimenez just made an improbable split conversion on junior varsity for Plymouth Whitemarsh. Jimenez has, I believe, 6 games of varsity this year for Plymouth Whitemarsh. Jack Snyder has to deal with a free 10. O'Connor second. Good. Spare, spare, spare. That's now 45 and counting for Sean O'Connor. 179 to 170 Colonials over the Eagles of Norristown area. The Pioneer Athletic Conference, but independent for bowling. Third year, Norristown is not in the Suburban One American. 1 of 2 for Snyder. Back-to-back opens. Lionel Yates knocks everything down. So now if Rosenberg gets a strike or spare, will be a clean frame. Zach Miller now. Look, another good ball. Another good ball. Back-to-back for Miller. I think he wants to strike out. If he does, he'll get over 700. I think there have been fewer than 10 male bowlers in PW history who have achieved 700 or better series. Could have been more, but there haven't been many. Sam Rosenberg. And it's a clean frame for the Eagles. 2 strikes and 3 spares. All 10 for Panzer in the meantime. PW in that frame, 3 strikes, a spare, and an open. For 3 frames, the final game, it's PW 220, Norristown 190. David Serto with an 8 count to begin the 4th frame. PW returns to Facenda Whitaker on January 30th for Senior Day against Norristown. CITV plans on filling the boys' match against the Golden Bears. That's if the circumstances permit. Dimitri gets a 7 count on the left side. Spare converted there. And that strike, strike, spare, spare for David Serto, 75. And counting. So it looks like PW will miss Eastern PA Regionals for the 3rd straight year, but we'd just like to improve average. Another spare for Dimitri. Elgart can't get his third in a row, so that's an 8 count. Evan Elgart, known for getting strikes and goals, known for scoring a few goals during his PW boys soccer career. The 7 won't budge for Logan Yates, however the 2-pin spare is successful for Evan Elgart. PW had high expectations this year, thinking it could compete for the Suburban 1 title. However, who would have thought that North Penn would be 43-1 at this point, 989 average, 78 200 games, 23 600 series. The numbers are appalling. That's in conference play. And that's an open for Logan Yates. Jack Snyder with a 6 count. You had the bowl against Pottsgrove on January 22nd, a league match against Haverhorst January 23rd, finishing the week with a match against Norristown. And Sean O'Connor picks up his first strike of game 3, that is, with his 4th frame strike. We're in game 3, frame 4. Open frame for Snyder, that's his 3rd in a row, giving him 45 and counting. Now the 4-hole position for both teams. On the left lane will be Lionel Yates of Norristown. Right side, Zach Miller, Plymouth Whitemarsh. Beautiful ball. Back-to-back jacks for Lionel Yates. Now Zach Miller will wait his turn. He's on a double. .310 split. The Suburban 1 League Bowling Facebook page is your source for present and past standings in Suburban 1 League. Find out averages, high games, high series, and more. Visit facebook.com and search SLL Bowling. So Sam Rosenberg on a strike. And he has a double. Back-to-back jacks for him. Gives him 54 and counting. That's 285 for Norristown. PW at 299 pending the roll. Miller gets both. 3 marks in a row for Zach Miller. He's at 67 and counting. Right now he's at a 5-10 series. So now Tyler Panzer to finish the frame. PW up 303 to 285 in the 4th frame of game 3. PW won the first 2 games, up 2-0. All 10 for Panzer. He has 3 strikes in the spare. Now we go to the 5th frame. Serto asserts himself with a strike. 3 strikes and 2 spares for the PW leadoff. He has 95 and counting. PW the 4th frame, a strike, 3 spares and an open. Here's Jimmy Dimitri. Pins are kind that time for Jimmy Dimitri. He's got 2 strikes and 3 spares. That's 85 and counting for the Norristown leadoff. Logan Yates now for Norristown. Another good jersey. How about 5 straight strikes for the Eagles? Evan Elgart leaves the 7. It's 361 to 315 PW though. PW right now over 2,000 pins. So's Norristown. PW hasn't had a 2800 series in conference play. Looking to get a 2800 perhaps in non-league. Elgart leaves the 7. O'Connor gets 9. Norristown used to have a very good girls bowling team. Emily Kinsey made states a handful of years ago. She was on the Lady Eagles, and that's a strike for Jack Snyder. O'Connor brushes aside. That's 6 straight marks for the Eagles. You have him 85 and counting. He's right now at a 491 series. It'll be Zach Miller on the left side, Lionel Yates on the right. Miller converted a split his last frame, and he doesn't have to this time. His third strike of the game. You have him 87 and counting. Can't get the jersey strike. That's an 8 count for Lionel Yates. The last bowler in Suburban 1 American to qualify for regionals was Matt Grayowski back when Norristown was in the league in 2011. Grayowski ended up going to the University of Pittsburgh, if I'm not mistaken. 2-pin pickup there for Lionel Yates. That's 7 straight marks for the Eagles. Both Dimitri and Rosenberg made regionals last year, along with Charlton Moore Sweet. Norristown sent 3 bowlers to regionals last year. Haven't sent 4 since 2014. Now all 10 and past the gravy. It's a turkey for Rosenberg. And it's an empty feeling for Tyler Panzer. So it's 418 to 393 PW for 5 frames in game 3. Norristown and clean frame, 3 strikes and 2 spares. 10 strikes, 10 spares, 5 opens. Now we go to the 6 frame Serto on the right lane, 36. That 10's not going to fall. PW has 12 strikes for 5 frames. It's 436 to 393. Colonials. Looks like Colonials would get a 4-0 sweep with a win in this game. Won't count for regional qualifying purposes, but it's still an official match. And it's another pickup for David Serto. We'll have one more match in his varsity career at home. And 4 more matches to go, the circumstances permit. Dimitri gets 7. Elgart with 8. Right now Elgart at 92, Dimitri at 99, pending his rolls. Dimitri finishes it. By the way, last year marked the first time in Norristown's history since regionals came into existence in 2007 that no Norristown bowler rolled a 200 game at regionals in the singles competition. In total, Norristown bowlers dating back to 2007 had rolled 37 200 games at Eastern PA regional singles competitions. Logan Yates has back-to-back jacks. Snyder can't follow suit. He has a 9 count. Yates at 85 and counting. It's 465, 433 Colonials now in the middle position of the lineups. Good approach for Snyder. Back-to-back marks for Jack Snyder. Sean O'Connor with the jersey strike. Norristown looking for back-to-back clean frames. Right now the Eagles have 11 straight marks. Zach Miller, 4 strikes, a spare and an open. Good match, 107 and counting. Lionel Yates, meanwhile, with his second split of the game. 487 to 469 Colonials. Panzer. Well, that pans out. PW finishes the frame with 2 strikes, 2 spares, and an open. That's 14 strikes for the Colonials. 1 of 2 on the second ball for Lionel Yates. He's at 91. 497 to 470 Colonials as Sam Rosenberg on the left side looking for a clover. Oh, that would have been worse if that pin didn't fall. That's a 6-7-9 split. Jimmy Dimitri will start the 7th frame on the right lane for Norristown. Messenger is wiggling. By the way, CITV plans on filming Plymouth Whitemarsh at Norristown Wrestling Saturday, February 2nd, I think at 11 a.m. That's right. That will be at Norristown Area High School if the circumstances permit. We had to make up for our wrestling week we could not cover. Rosenberg gets 2. 2 opens in the 6th. And Dimitri is open free through 7 frames in the game. It's at 124 and counting. Serto leaves the 6 and 10. Plymouth Whitemarsh has not sent a bowler to state since 2006. That was back when there was no regional tournament. Wow, look at that sweeper. Past the stuffing, past the gravy. It's a turkey. Serto picks up the mark. He's 7 for 7 on marks as well. 133 and counting. Evan Elgart now. Really good ball. That's his 3rd strike of the game. 103 and counting. Sean O'Connor. That's his 3rd strike. He's got no opens in this game. He's at 125 and counting. Needs a 194 for a 600. Could be a dark horse toward the end of the season. The final few matches for the Eagles. Lionel Yates makes it 3 straight strikes for the Eagles this frame. Snyder leaves the 8-pin. Jack Snyder needs to bowl 2 more games on varsity and conference play to be considered eligible to qualify for regionals. Top 10 average or wild card at Suburban 1 American Tournament. Rosenberg, and that 10 won't fall. Good pickup for Snyder, who has 3 marks in a row. 94 and counting for 7. It's 544 for PW, 583 for Norristown. Norristown has taken the lead due to its strike barrage. Right now, 15 X's. Zach Miller. And you can pass the gravy and the fixings for Miller. The turkey for him. Give him 137 and counting. Oh, that's an open. Back-to-back opens for Rosenberg. 3 strikes, a spare, and an open for the Eagles at frame 7. Norristown is 583, PW 574 before Tyler Panzer. Good ball, and he's got back-to-back jacks. Clean frame for the Colonials. 3 strikes and 2 spares. 594, 583 Colonials. 8th frame. Serto rolls his eyes. leaving the 6 pin. Jimmy Dimitri looking to continue the consistency. It's not going to be a jersey strike, but avoids trouble. And there's another pickup for David Serto, who has 3 strikes and 5 spares. 152 and counting. Dimitri staring down. That 2 pin. Got it. Open free. Third game for Dimitri. Evan Elgar. Yes. Back-to-back jacks for the 2-hole. Our next edition of CITV Sports is scheduled for Tuesday, January 29th, 2019, in a highly anticipated boys basketball Suburban One American matchup between the Abington Ghosts and the Plymouth Whitemarsh Colonials. Abington has 2,000-point scorer and Villanova recruit Eric Dixon. Abington defeated the Colonials in Abington the previous meeting by 6 or 7 points. However, PW was held to 40 in that matchup. And look who found the 4-leaf clover. 4 in a row for Logan Yates. And Snyder has a strike of his own. We got a mark spree going in the match and the game. 6:53, 6:32 Colonial. Middle of the 8th frame of our final game. Jimmy Dimitri showing some really fine sportsmanship to Tyler Panzer. It's Miller. And he found the 4-leaf clover. That's 4 in a row for him. That's 3 straight strikes for Colonial bowlers. That's 167 and counting. Right now, Miller's at a 610 series. If Miller strikes out, he has a chance at 700, I think. Possibly. Hanser can't get the turkey himself. PW will finish with another 3 strikes. They're already at 20 strikes. That's 70 in the game. Or the match, that is. Oh, and O'Connor knew it even before the ball hit the pins. Good pickup. He's at 151 and counting. Hanser finishes off the clean frame for PW. How about that? Back-to-back clean frames for the Colonials. 20 strikes, 12 spares, 8 opens. 9th frame will come after Norristown has its 4-hole and anchor bowlers. PW up 712 to 674. And we'll see in the final 3 Suburban One American matches if Tyler Panzer can crack the top 10 or any other PW bowler can gain some ground. Keep in mind, Miller won the Suburban One American tournament last year and got an at-large. So it is possible to not have a top 10 average and get first place. Every day is different. And basically, in order to go to states, one of your better days have to be regionals. Dimitri, oh, that's a split. Lionel Yates got the spare in the 8th frame. And Rosenberg will finish the 8th for Norristown, down 712 to 692 and 2 games to 9. Rosenberg gets everything. Clean frame in frame 8, that is. 2 strikes and 3 spares. Give Rosenberg 128 and counting. Dimitri can't get it. That's his first open in the 3rd game. Give him 157 and counting. 9th frame, 712 to 702 Colonials over the Eagles. And a battle between former league rivals. A cross-river rivalry. PW's had bowling since fall of 2004. 3-10 split here for Logan Yates. And David Serto, meanwhile, is still open free in the game. That's his 4th strike. He's at 172 and counting. We're now at 526. Ninth frame of game 3. Elgart. 4-7-10 split. And how about that pickup for Logan Yates? That's his 5th straight mark. Give him 173 and counting. Right now, 7 more pins will give him a 500 series. Nothing there for Elgart. That's PW's first open since Elgart hadn't opened the 6th frame. Only the 9th open in this game. The 30th of the match for PW. It's an average 10 a game. So PW's done a better job converting. Still looking for a 1,000 game, though. Sean O'Connor. 7 count. He's in the 570 range. Jack Snyder gets a strike here. Already be over 500. Oh, the 10 wiggles. Can't fall. Snyder's already over 500 series. 132 and counting. PW up 771 to 744. And O'Connor's still open free through 9. 168. He's at 574. Wow. Just nicked it. All that matters is it fell. 5th straight frame with a mark. It's 134 and counting. Here comes Lionel Yates for Norristown with a 121 and counting right now. Oh boy, that's a split. Miller on a clover. 5-bagger. 197 and counting. There is a possibility he could get a 257. If he gets a 257, that's a 700 series. And I can tell you that Zach Miller is already over a 600 series. Panzer got the strike. That was an open for Yates. 3 more strikes for PW. That's 23. A spare, that's only 13. An open, that's 9. 823. The 763 Colonials. Sam Rosenberger to finish the 9th for Norristown. Leaves the 10. Jimmy Dimitri will be on the left side. Norristown will be on lane 35, the left lane, for the 10th and final frame of the match. Jimmy Dimitri starts off with a split for the 2nd straight frame. Norristown right now at 788, PW 823. Zach Miller is going to have his 3rd straight 200 game. Much better match than he did in a 4-0 loss against North Penn on January 16th. Open for Rosenberg. Dimitri will get 2. That will end his day at 166. It's a 5-12 series. And now that is going to be David Serto getting an 8 count on his first ball. So it is a 5-12 series for Jimmy Dimitri. Right now, Serto's at a 190, so he needs to spare here. And it says he got 9. And that is an open miss for Logan Yates. It's a 189. Very good 3rd game for Logan Yates. That's a 509 series. He gets 1. That's a 190. For a 544. for Certo. Meanwhile, Sean O'Connor with a 188 after the strike. Evan Elgart starts off with an 8 count. So O'Connor needs 6 pins for a 600 series. And there's your 600 series. 198 and counting. And open for Evan Elgart. $5.16 for Evan Elgart. O'Connor will have one more ball. PW up 849 to 836 after those back-to-back opens. PW right now at 11 opens in the game. This is the final frame in the match. O'Connor will finish off with a turkey. How about a 208? O'Connor, wow. How about a 614 series? Not sure if he expected that himself. Very solid effort. Lionel Yates with a 9 count, and that will give Norristown a temporarily 855 to 849 edge. It appears at this point PW will get at least 3 of 4 games over the Eagles. Good way to end the bowling week, with January 25th being the final day of the semester. Won't hang in there. Open for Yates. Snyder with a 9. So the 146 will be a 463 series for Lionel Yates. PW up 867, Norristown at 855. And it will hang in there. Snyder now at a 153 and counting. He is in the 530s range. 531 to be exact. And that's a 9 count for Rosenberg. Snyder on the bonus ball, and that's a 9. Snyder finishes with 162. That's a 540 series for Jack Snyder. So Rosenberg is second in the gutter, and that does it for Norristown. 155. That's only a 507. Norristown with 864. Miller will not get 6 in a row, and that ruins his chance at 700, perhaps. 218. Right now he's at 661. That might be a personal best, because he won the Suburban 1 tournament last year at 649. Get them all. He does. Miller's got one more. 224. He's at 667. Norristown finishes the match with 26-05. 6 pins short of its season best. Bonus ball for Miller. A very good match. What a way to finish, Zach Miller. 234. And that's a 677 series. Too bad it is non-league, otherwise that would really help out the average for regional qualifying. Here's Panzer. That's a 10 count. Norristown had 61 strikes, 51 spares, and 42 opens. So two-bagger right now for Panzer, 9:34 for PW. The Colonials will sweep the Eagles. That's a 7 count. No, it doesn't matter. That's a 2-10 for him, and the Colonials are going to win 4-0 just by a matter of how much. Right now it's a 561 and counting for Panzer. 948 ties for the highest pinfall in the first two. And he finishes with a spare. And that's a 213 for Panzer, a 564. PW wins the third and final game, 951 to 864. The Colonials sweep the Norristown Eagles by a score of 4-0. That's another edition of CITV Sports. I'm Scott Samuel David Weiss. For more information regarding CITV programming, visit www.colonialsd.org/community/CITV.